Welcome to Jerusalem. You may know it as the Holy City because it's sacred to Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. Jerusalem was made the capital of Israel by King David around 1000 BC. King David's tomb is a religious site where women and men are separated. Underneath the tomb and the city of Jerusalem is Hezekiah's tunnel and Gihon Spring. At Gihon Spring, King David's son Solomon was anointed king. 250 years later, King Hezekiah built a tunnel so the water from the spring could flow to all of Jerusalem. Today you can walk through parts of the tunnel. Above it are kumquat trees. Kumquats are tiny oranges with edible skins. Around the old city of Jerusalem is a wall. The stones in this wall are different sizes. That's because the ones on the bottom are 1,000 years older than the ones on top. In the wall are various gates, including the Dung Gate, where poop was carried out of the city. Let's go through this gate to the western wall. It's another religious site that separates men and women. When young Jewish men turn 13, they can have their bar mitzvahs here. Sometimes women stand on chairs to be able to see the men's side and watch the bar mitzvahs. The western wall is important because it is all that is left of the Jewish temple that was destroyed by the Romans around 70 AD. During the 1500s, Jewish people were kicked out of Spain and Portugal. These exiles built the 4 Sephardic Synagogues of Jerusalem. They were built underground because the Muslims that controlled Jerusalem at the time outlawed the building of synagogues above ground. Many Jewish people are kosher. This means that they do not eat meat and dairy in the same meal. They eat at kosher restaurants like this one, which serves meat but not dairy. Their homes also have kosher kitchens. You can see this kitchen has separate sections for meat, parve, and dairy utensils.
It's still going. The Muslim call to prayer is still going. Or maybe they're actually praying, but they're really loud. So I guess everyone in Jerusalem just has to wake up at 5 a.m. If we allowed people to sleep in, there might be peace in the Middle East.
This is a kosher cafe that serves dairy but not meat. Now that we've eaten, let's visit the Mountain of Olives. The Mount of Olives Cemetery is the most expensive place to be buried in the world.
This is where Jesus told his disciples the Lord's Prayer, which is the Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come.
This church has the Lord's Prayer written in over 100 different languages. Next to it is the place where Jesus wept because he foresaw the destruction of the Jewish temple, which is now covered by the Muslim Dome of the Rock. Near it is the Garden of Gethsemane, where we can see olive trees that the Mountain of Olives is named after. Jesus went here with his disciples and prayed so hard that his sweat was like blood. The Church of All Nations has been built on the spot where he prayed. While he prayed, he could look out and see the gates of mercy that Christians believe he will pass through again during his second coming. Jewish people also believe that the Messiah will pass through these gates one day. Today they are blocked, though, because Muslims were destroying the ancient Jewish artifacts in them. Speaking of Messiah, here's the location where Jesus ascended into heaven. At this location, there is a spot in the rock that some say is the footprint of Jesus. Now let's head across the Kidron Valley back to the old city. We'll enter the city through the Lion's Gate. Can you see the lion carvings? Now that we're back inside the old city, we can see the Pool of Bethesda, where Jesus healed a paralyzed man. Then we can walk to the monastery built around the cell that held Jesus while he waited to be tried. At his trial, Jesus was condemned to death, which begins the 14 stations of the cross. The stations of the cross tell the story from when Jesus was condemned to when he was placed in the tomb. Let's look at some now. Be careful because a nearby mosque just let out, and a crowd of Muslim men are filling up the street. There are a dozen armed Israeli soldiers ready in case anything happens. Uh-oh, some of them just left to chase after someone. I think it's time to get out of here and look at the final stations, which are in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. On the bottom floor of the church is the place where Jesus was nailed to the cross. Then there are stairs to the top of Golgotha. At the top, you can touch where the cross was and see where the rock split. Back down the stairs is the place where Jesus was prepared for burial and the tomb where they placed Jesus. It's a long wait to go inside the tomb. It's so long that a mass is held while we wait. But it's worth it to go inside the place where Jesus was buried and then resurrected. There are more tombs just outside the city. As you can see, there is a lot of burning incense hanging from the ceiling. The incense is symbolic of prayers rising to heaven. You can also place prayers here in the tomb of Mary. Near her tomb are the tombs of Anne, her mother, and Joseph, her husband. Now it's Friday night and time for the Sabbath. This means that all the Jewish stores and restaurants are closed. It's a great time to visit the Shuk and see the closed stalls painted with the faces of notable Jewish people. That's it for Jerusalem. Make sure to like and subscribe.